भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति निश्चिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. So I'm very grateful to each and every one of you for joining in for the morning program. So it's a very cold, chilly winter weather. It's very difficult. It's a tapasya to wake up early in the morning, take shower and come for Mangala Arati. It's a tapasya, and actually Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, Matra Sparshas to Kaunteya verse, in the purport he mentions about tapasya. So I thought of speaking a few minutes on the importance of morning program, why we should come here. So I thought of speaking that, and then we'll go to today's topic of discussion. So here, are you able to see this? Okay. Here you can see that what Prabhupada is mentioning, that I will just read out. This is like, this can give us this.
Please, can you write it a bit?
Yes.
Bigger, okay.
This is okay?
That's better, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning the importance of rising up early in the morning, coming for Mangala Arati. So in the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magh, January and February. So it's very applicable to us. It's month of January and February, and it's very cold. It is very cold at that time. Yeah, we do agree with that. But in spite of that, a man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. So this is about one inspiring thing. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that for Krishna consciousness, we have to rise up early in the morning, doesn't matter whether it's summer or winter. And again, here in the teachings of Kunti also, Srila Prabhupada writes about that. So I thought of sharing that as well. So it is said in Manchester, it may sometimes, I'm just saying it's Manchester, it's applicable. In Manchester, it may sometimes be very chilly in the morning. This whole entire week it was chilly, -6, -7. And that may make taking one's morning bath a little difficult. Yes. But does that mean that those who are devotees will stop taking that prescribed morning bath? No. Even if it is chilly, they must take this regular bath. The duty must be done. Even if there is a little suffering involved, that is called tapasya or austerity. Tapasya means that we must proceed with our business of Krishna consciousness despite all the dangers and calamities of this world. This is called tapasya or voluntary acceptance of the difficulties of life. So I wanted to speak a few minutes on morning program. So it's very important that it's a tapasya actually to come rise up early in the morning. Even for me also it's a tapasya. But we have to understand, like many devotees must be doing morning program at their home, so which is very good. But the importance of association is very important. It plays a very important role. Whatever spiritual activity, when we do in association of devotees, it has tremendous effect, rather than when we do it alone. So that's the one reason. Personally, I seek, I always try to, come for this Saturday morning program with the intention that to charge my battery, because I know how much morning program, because of the working schedule and everything, it's difficult to do at home. But here we have opportunity twice a month to attend a morning program, starting with Mangala Arati, chanting and Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. And I have personally seen that many devotees' life has been transformed by attending morning program. So it's very important. And so that's why I'm very grateful to each and every one of you for coming in for today's morning program and for inspiring me, for inspiring each other. And we have to encourage others also to participate in this morning program. Because recently I was getting a thought that, let us say, if we don't come for morning program, okay, it will affect us, but it will also affect the future generations. The time will come when the kids, or the future generation, they will ask, oh, do devotees chant together also sometimes? We never thought about. Oh, what it means? What is Mangalarti? What is Guru Ashtakam? What is, we sing Samchara Dava. So that questions will come if we don't come. So for our own benefit and for the benefit of future generation, we should try our level best to attend morning program. It's a tapasya, but we have to accept that tapasya for ourselves and for others, to inspire each other. So I thought of speaking few words on that. Now coming to our discussion. So in the last discussion which we had on the first week of this month, the Saturday of this month, was, so we are discussing the Matsya, the fish incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that there are innumerable incarnations of the Supreme Lord, and they are compared to like waves in the ocean. There are innumerable waves in the ocean which comes to the shore and then again goes back to the ocean. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he appears in different incarnations and he comes to this world. The main purpose, because as we know in the Bhagavad Gita that there are various purposes like for which Lord appears in this world. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So out of that the most important purpose is paritranaya sadhana, to shower mercy upon his devotees, to protect his devotees, and to reciprocate with his devotees. Other purpose can be done by many incarnations, like establishing religious principles and killing the demonic people. So, this Matsya, the fish incarnation of the Supreme Lord, is one such extraordinary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And in this pastime, or in this incarnation of the Lord, so the Lord, last week we discussed, not last week, last Saturday program we discussed, that the Lord appeared in the first Manvantar of this day of Brahma. So the day of Brahma we discussed, it is divided into 14 Manvantars, 14 Manus. So Manvantar, actually it is a lifespan of one Manu. So there are 14 Manus who look after the entire creation. So like that there are 14 Manus. So the Matsya avatar first appeared in the Swayambhu Manvantar, which is the first Manvantar of this day of Brahma. So Brahma ji has completed his 50 years till now, and now the first day of 51st year is going on. So this is like currently you can consider that afternoon time is going on for Brahmaji. So it's a lunch time. Brahmaji must be having his lunch break. So the half day is gone, and so half day, like we are in the 7th Manvantar. So there are 14 Manvantars, so half day is gone. So now how to understand, the Brahmaji lives for such a long time. It's very difficult to perceive it or conceive it, how. So one thing that I heard is, like if you take a ant, or you take a lifespan of an ant or any insect, they will appear, like let us say, they are born and within a 6 months everything is done. They are born, then they will get married, or whatever, they will have byproducts, then the old age will come and they will die. For some insect it will happen only for a day. Morning they are born, and by the, like from our point of view, from our day perspective, they are born in the morning and they die in the evening. So similarly you can consider for Brahma we are like ant. Our lifespan is like an ant. So that's how it's the lifetime of Brahma is very long, difficult to perceive, but by this relativity of time we can understand. So the first reason why the Lord appeared in the first appearance in the first Swayambhu Manvantar, Matsya avatar appeared, and the purpose was to protect Vedas. So in this, at the end of previous Kalpa, or the previous day of Brahma, I'm just summarizing this what we discussed in the previous session, so that everyone can know. So in the previous day of Kalpa, or the previous day of Brahma, what happened? Brahmaji, he felt like Brahmaji at the end of his day he will sleep. He will go to sleep, and then at that time a devastation will happen. All the three worlds, Guha and Swaha. So all these three worlds, Suha and Swaha. So all these three worlds will get devastated. So that time, what happened when Brahma was sleeping? This demon Hayagriva, which you can see on the slide, this demon. So he stole the Vedas. He stole the Vedas. Now, what was the purpose of stealing the Vedas? Is because the Vedas is beneficial for the humankind. Vedas help us. It takes us to the ultimate goal of life. So this demon wanted to steal that Vedas so that the people will be distracted from the goal of their life. So that was the reason that this demon Hayagriva, he stole the Vedas. And by doing that, then the Lord decided, to protect the Vedas. So the Lord decided to protect the Vedas to appear. So that was the first time when Matsya Avatar incarnated, and Matsya Avatar killed this demon Hayagriva and protected the Vedas and gave those Vedas back to Lord Brahma, so that the further creation and Lord Brahma can impart this knowledge to all the living entities. So you can see that initially when I put this photo on the slide, they were showing Vedas in the form of leaf. Vedas are written on the palm leaf or some leaves. So then I understood that Vedas are actually personalities. They are not like just notes. So I just edited it and put those 4 personalities there. So this was the first time when Matsya Avatar appeared. Then the Swayambhu Manvantar is passed. Then the next 5 Manvantars are also passed. Then in the 6th Manvantar, so as I said, how many Manvantars are there? 14. So in the 6th Manvantar, which is known as Chakshusha Manvantar, the Manu for that Manvantar is Chakshu. So at the end of Chakshu Manvantar, there was a great king. His name was King Satyavrat. So he was a great devotee of the Lord, and King Satyavrat was actually performing austerities. For what purpose? To obtain the Supreme Lord, to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And the austerity which he was doing was, he was sustaining only on water, nothing else, no grains, only sustaining on water, to please the Supreme Lord. So one day, King Satyavrat was offering oblations to the river, and that time he found that on the palm of his hand there was a small fish, very tiny fish, and the austerity like King Satyavrat was performing on the bank of river Kritamala. So in the last session we discussed about the significance of Kritamala. Like Kritamala is located in which state? Anyone remembers?
Tamil Nadu.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Where?
So it is located in Tamil Nadu, in the southern part of India, and there is a lot of significance how this Kritamala river, like through the mercy of Lord Shiva, it came there. Ganges, it is actually Ganges. Mother Ganga, like she's there in the form of Kritamala river, and many exalted devotees, the Supreme Lord himself as Lord Balram, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also bathed in this river Kritamala. So we discussed in detail about Kritamala river. And so this King Satyavrat, when he found this fish, small tiny fish in his palm, and that fish started speaking in a very compassionate manner. She was speaking in a very soft, sweet words, that, "Oh my king, please do not put me back into the river, because there are other aquatic animals, there are other fishes, which are bigger in size, they can kill me, they can eat me. So don't put me back, take me to some place like where it is safe." So the king, after hearing these sweet words from the fish, the journey of the fish we can see. The fish was put into a jug, or you can say the pot, and then when the fish was put into that pot, the fish again told that this place is not comfortable. I mean, I am in a very tiny space. I need a bit more comfortable space. Then the king put that fish in the well, and once the fish was in the well, again the fish said that he is not comfortable in that well, and requested, appealed that please put me in a bigger reservoir. Then the king moved that fish into the lake. And in the lake also, then the fish said the same thing. So this, it's not enough for me. Actually, the fish was expanding its size. And finally, the king decided to put the fish in the ocean. And in the ocean, the fish expanded millions of miles. And again said to the king that, I am fearful of other aquatic creatures in the ocean. there can be crocodiles, there can be this which is that fish? Timingala fish. Of course, now we don't see that, but the Timingala fish which is one of the most largest size of fish. So I am fearful of that fish. So then the king understood that this is not an ordinary fish. King understood that this fish is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So we'll continue from that. Then afterwards what happens? King Satyavrat starts offering his prayers. So that was where we stopped last time. So we will continue from there. So we'll recite the verse. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 24th chapter, 25th verse. Oh, sorry. You can repeat after me. एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारतिं ताम् आह को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन् एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारतिं तम् आह को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन् एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारतिं तम् आहो को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन् And would like to recite?
एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारितं ताम् आह को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन्
एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारतिं तमः को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन्
Mataji.
एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारतिं तम् आह को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन्
एवं विमोहितस्तेन वदता वल्गुभारतिं तम् आह को भवानस्मान् मत्स्यरूपेण मोहयन्
एवं thus विमोहिता
bewildered
tena by the fish vadata speaking valgubharatim sweet words tam unto him ah said kaha who bhavan you asman us matsya rupena
Matsya Rupena,
in the form of a fish,
in the form of a fish,
Mohayan,
Mohayan,
bewildering. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. After hearing these sweet words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the form of a fish, the king, being bewildered, asked him, "Who are you, sir? You simply bewilder us." We will recite Mangala Charan. Om Ajnana-Timirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadhana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sadhana Shri Vishakanitamscha Krishna Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashadya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So the king, being bewildered, he understood, he realized that this is not an ordinary fish, but the Supreme Lord Himself. And then the king starts offering prayers. So the king offers prayers twice in this entire pastime. So the first time when king realizes that this is not an ordinary fish, but the Supreme Lord Himself. And further in the chapter, again the king offers prayers when the Lord showers more mercy on this king. And that we'll see in the further section. So we'll start seeing the prayers by the King Satyavrata. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have heard prayers from many exalted devotees. We have heard prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, Kunti Maharani, and many exalted devotees. So can you give me a name of incarnation of the Supreme Lord, where the Lord expanded? Initially he had a small form, and then the Lord expanded to huge. Vamandev. Yes. Any more examples from Srimad Bhagavatam?
Matsya?
Yeah, this is there. In addition to that, like other examples.
Even Vara, he came as a child.
Yes,
From the
right.
house and then became bigger.
Yeah, so we'll. Should I recite that Sanskrit Upaj or only translation?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
However,
So-
you feel comfortable.
We'll read the translation. Any volunteers to read the translation for this verse? We can go in a sequence. We have many verses.
My Lord, in one day, you have expanded yourself for hundreds of miles, covering the water of the river and the ocean. Before this, I had never seen or heard of such an aquatic animal.
Yeah. So here we can see that how the Lord, as Matsya avatar, expanded. Initially, Lord was in the pot, and then in the well, then in the lake, then more bigger reservoir, and then finally in the ocean. So Lord expanded to millions of miles. So we can see that even many incarnations, as Mataji also said, Vaman Dev incarnation also initially Lord appeared in the form of dwarf Brahmana and then approached Bali Maharaj and asked Bali Maharaj asked what charity you want, and Vaman Dev as a dwarf Brahmana said that I need 3 steps. I need a land which can be covered in 3 steps. So the Bali Maharaj thought that this Brahmana is very unintelligent. He doesn't know what benediction to be asked. So in that pastime also we see that how the Lord then expanded his form, and in the 2 steps he covered. In the first step he covered the upper and lower. In the 2 steps he covered upper and lower planetary system, and then he asked where I should put my 3rd step, and then Bali Maharaj said that you can put the 3rd step on my head. So we learn from that Atma Nivedan. So we can see that in this pastime also Lord expanded, and also as Mataji said, Mangala Mataji, but Varaha Avatar came from the nostril of Brahmaji, then expanded and went into the Garbhadakshay ocean and lifted the Mother Earth from there. So when the Lord appears or expands, we may feel it surprising, but for Lord it's not surprising. Lord can take a small form and expand to a huge form. And also, can you give the name of devotees of the Lord who also took a small form but then expanded themselves? Any thoughts? Hanumanji. When?
When he went to. When he was lifting.
When he was entering into that, the demon of the.
No, when he wanted to lift the.
Multiple times Hanumanji expanded. So we can also see in that pastime how Hanumanji also expanded himself. And also we can see that Lord Krishna also in the Bhagavad Gita showed Virat Roop to Arjuna. So we can see that Lord can expand himself. So we may not be able to understand, or we may feel it surprising, but Lord can expand. And that's what we can see that in this verse. Even King Satyavrata is telling that I have never seen or never heard about such a form of or such a aquatic animal, like Matsya avatar. So now going to the next verse. Who is next? You.
My Lord, you are the certainly the most inexhaustible, supreme personality of Godhead, Narayana Sri Hari. It is to show your mercy to the living entities that you have now assumed the form of an aquatic.
Yeah. So here, King Satyavrata, like we can see that King Satyavrata is saying, Nunam Tvam Bhagavan, Shakshat Hari, Narayana. So King Satyavrata is not referring, he is very specific. He is telling who is that Bhagavan? Narayan Hari, not any other, he is not referring to any demigod. So King Satyavrata, he knew the conclusion of the Vedas, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is directly referring to Lord Hari. And he also knew what is the purpose of Lord's, he is mentioning here that it is to show your mercy to the living entities that you have now assumed the form of an aquatic. So King Satyavrata knew the purpose of Vedas, the purpose of Lord's appearance. So here also we can see that it is mentioned why the Lord appears. Lord appears to show his mercy to the living entities, to do the mercy to his devotees. So that's why King Satyavrata said that, my Lord, I know that you have assumed you are Sakshat Narayan Hari, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you have appeared to assume, you have assumed this form to shower your mercy on the living entities. Now going to the next. I think we can also read that Sanskrit because, yeah. Namaste, we can recite together. Namaste Purusha Shreshta Sthiti Pati Apyaveshvara Bhaktanam na Prapannanam Mukhyo Yatma Gatir Vibho. Translation.
O my Lord, my Master of creation, maintenance and annihilation, O best of enjoyers, Lord Vishnu, you are the leader and destination of surrender devotee like us. Therefore, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Yeah. So in this verse you can see that Namaste Purusha Shrestha. Namaste. We have heard this word very often, Namaste. So whenever we greet someone, we generally the Vedic tradition is to say Namaste or offer Dandot Pranam, offer respectful obeisances. Of course, now we say, like Vedic tradition is not like you say hi, hello. It's about saying Namaste, offering, it has a very deep meaning, you can see here. Nama means I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So it's offering, actually literally offering obeisances. Sometimes we may do it like just in a casual way, Namaste, or just saying it as a word, but it has a very deep meaning. You actually want to respectfully offer your obeisances unto that person. So here it is telling, and here it is in this verse it is also telling that Lord is He is the one who looks after the maintenance, creation, and even the destruction. You are that supreme Lord. You are the supreme enjoyer. And here, one important point which is mentioned, that you are the leader and the destination of surrendered devotees like us. So here, in this verse, it is mentioned about what is the goal of human life. What is the ultimate destination? And I will refer to another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Just a minute, let me increase the font size. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramaka, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Paramyanam, Vasudevam Paratapa, Vasudeva Parodharma, Vasudeva Paragati. Anyone would like to read the translation?
In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is the form of realizing Him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by Him only. He is supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion, dharma, is rendering loving service unto Him. He is the supreme goal of life.
So this is the goal of those who are surrendered, which is referring to this in this verse as well. You are the leader and the destination of surrendered devotees like us. So Lord Krishna, or pleasing, loving service to the Lord Krishna is the ultimate goal of our life. Now take an example. Suppose we have to go from Manchester to London. So the final destination is London. We have to go to London. But there will be some milestones. There will be certain goals, which we'll have to do, like taking a leave from our office, then booking a ticket, and backpacking, and of course for devotees packing prasadam. So we make all the other arrangements. We also try to achieve different milestones. But the ultimate goal is to reach London. Yeah. But here the ultimate goal is to reach Krishna, to go back to God, rendering loving service to the Supreme Lord. And similarly, in our life also, there will be many of us are working, so we have other responsibilities. We are working and earning money, so to maintain our family, so that we can peacefully practice Krishna consciousness. But the ultimate goal is to render loving service to Krishna. So we have to never forget about what is the goal. Our goal. Sometimes it may happen that we give priority to other goals and we forget about the ultimate goal in our life. So, and we have to see, like when we see every activity, like maintaining a family and doing anything, when we relate it to that goal, that supreme goal, that I want to please Lord Krishna, then we are able to practice Krishna consciousness in a proper way. And we are having a balanced lifestyle. So it is referring to that. So now we will go to the next verse. सर्वे लीला अवतारस्ते भूतानां भूतिहेतवा ज्ञातुम् इच्छामि अतो रूपं यदर्थं भवतर्कृतम्. Any volunteers?
All your pastime and incarnations certainly appear for the welfare of all living entities. Therefore, my Lord, I wish to know the purpose for which you have assumed this form of a fish.
Yeah. So here also it is mentioned that Lord appeared for the welfare of all living entities, showing mercy and for the welfare of all living entities. Now, there are different incarnations of the Supreme Lord, right? There are, and also here in this material world also we see that there are false incarnations also. Many false incarnations. Srila Prabhupada also, once he was telling in a lecture that there was one disciple and there was one guru. So this guru, he was trying to convince his disciple that I am Supreme Personality of Godhead, that I am God. He was trying, again and again telling me that, I am God, I am God. Finally this disciple, accepted, okay, you are God. And then Srila Prabhupada is telling that the God, the false God in this world, those who are claiming to be God, they need to convince. But Lord Krishna doesn't need to convince. He will never go and convince you that I am. We have to accept when he comes, appears in this world, performs all pastimes. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that how we can understand that who is the incarnation of the Lord and who is not the incarnation of the Lord. Anyone has any thoughts on that? Like how to identify? Let us say tomorrow some certain person comes to you and tells you that I am God. Then what you will reply to him?
You ask him to show the universal form, you ask him to lift the goal.
Yes.
Many more aspects.
Yeah.
If he's got any grey hairs.
Yeah.
What is that?
If he's got any grey hairs, he'll be fine.
Even we can ask him to ask his wife to massage his feet.
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada, what Mataji said, so what Srila Prabhupada tells is the first thing is it should be mentioned in the scripture. So the name, the place of appearance, then the activities of that incarnation will be mentioned in the scripture. That should be mentioned in the scripture. Like it is mentioned about all the incarnations, about Buddha is mentioned, about Kalki Avatar is mentioned. Vanyas, about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu it's not mentioned. Isn't it? Then is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incarnation of the Supreme Lord or not? His name is not mentioned. Is it mentioned?
Yes.
Yes.
It is mentioned.
In the Bhagavatam.
In the Bhagavatam.
In the 11th canto it's there.
Yeah, correct. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Chinna Avatar. So
Channa.
Channa Avatar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the mood of devotee. So that's why many people don't know in general that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur had given 28 references
28 references from scriptures.
Indicating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah.
You can Google actually, you'll be able to find these references.
So,
Scripture references.
yeah, thank you. And that is one, that the name should be mentioned, the name, the place of appearance, the activity should be mentioned in the scriptures. And as Mataji said, lifting Govardhan Hill. If someone is claiming to be a god, then he should be able to perform extraordinary activities which is not possible by ordinary human being. Like lifting Govardhan Hill. Or Lord Ramchandra killed 14,000 demons. So one should be able to, like those who are claiming to be a god, they should be able to demonstrate these extraordinary activities. And then there should be some purpose of appearance. There is some purpose. For every incarnation there is a purpose why Lord appears. And as Mataji said, that some incarnation, like they should show Virat Roop. So these are 4 points which Srila Prabhupada mentions, that by which we can understand whether one is an incarnation of the Lord or not. And we can see that King Satyavrat, he knew the Vedic essence of all Vedic knowledge. So he understood. And he is asking here in this verse, I want to know the purpose for which you have assumed this form of fish. why specifically you took this form of fish? Next verse. We'll read the translation because I think I will miss. I will not pronounce some Sanskrit words properly, and time is also short. So okay, next volunteer.
Oh my Lord, possessing eyes like the petals of a lotus, the worship of the demigods who are the bodily concept of life is fruitless.
Fruitless.
Do you mind to put it up a little bit more? The text size, font size.
size, font size.
This is also another kind. Krishna doesn't need glasses.
That should be okay.
Is it okay, bro?
That's fine, yeah. The worship of the demigods who are in the bodily concept of life is fruitless in all respect. But because you have the supreme friend and dearmost super soul of everyone, worship of your lotus feet is never useless. You have therefore manifested your form as a fish.
Prabhu, you can also read the purport.
Can I help or
No, it's okay.
you want to go?
No, I see, okay. The demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Surya are ordinary living entities who are differential parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord expands Himself through the living beings. Initya, Mityanam, Chaitana. Okay, it's from Kata Upanishads. Yeah. His personal Vishnu Tattva forms, which are all spiritual, are called Swamsa, and the living entities who are different parts are called Vibhamsa. Vibhinamsa. Some of the Vibhinamsa forms are spiritual and some are combination of matter and spirit. The conditioned souls in the material world are different from the eternal bodies made of, from the external bodies made of energy, material energy. Thus the demigods living in the upper planetary systems and the living entities living in the lower planetary systems are of the same nature. Nonetheless, those living as human beings on this planet are sometimes attracted to worshipping the demigods in the higher planetary systems. Such worship is temporary, as the human beings in this planet have to change their bodies. I can't read, it's too difficult.
Yeah, Tata Deha Prati.
The living entities known as Indra, Chandra, Varuna, and so on will also have to change their bodies in due course of time, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who do not know the position of the demigods are inclined to worship the demigods for some material purpose, but the results of such worship are never permanent. Consequently, here it is said, in other words, if one is to worship someone else, he must worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then his worship will never be fruitless.
Swalpamapi asya dharmasya prayato mahto
Even a slight attempt to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a permanent asset. Therefore, as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam,
Tattva Swadharma Charanam Bhujam Hare.
One should take to the worship of the lotus feet of Hari, even if this means giving up so-called occupational duty assigned because of the particular body of one has accepted. Because worship in terms of body is temporary. It does not bear any permanent fruit. But worshipping of the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives immense benefit.
Thank you, Guru. So in this verse, actually, it is very important lesson to understand. First, we can see that, O my Lord, possessing eyes like the petals of lotus. So I don't know how many of you have seen the eyes of a fish. How is it?
They don't have eyes.
Lotus? They don't have eyes?
Eyelids.
Okay. Yeah, it's round basically. It's not like a lotus shaped eyes. But here it is. We can see one thing we can understand, that even if the Lord takes different forms, His beauty doesn't decrease. It will be like, even if He takes the form of a boar as a Vara incarnation, that form is very beautiful. So that we can see the beauty of the Lord. Okay. And then it's about worship of demigods. A very important point to understand from Srila Prabhupada's purport also. First thing, here Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that the first business of a transcendentalist, also in the Bhagavad Gita we were discussing recently, Prabhupada mentioned there also, the first business of a transcendentalist is to understand that we are not this body but we are spirit soul. Okay, now this is very important, where Prabhupada is telling, worship of demigods, because the demigods, it is also a post. Indra is a post, Varuna is a post. After their pious credit is finished, then there will be another Indra. Like Manus also, they get replaced. Similarly, the demigods is also a post. And since they will also have to take another body, they are not going to live permanently. So whatever benedictions they are going to offer, it is also temporary. So we have to worship that personality who is not temporary, who is permanent. So here the importance is given about worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rather than worshipping various demigods who are temporary. But also, at the same time, we understand the demigods are devotees of the Lord. They are highly respectable. They are not like, they are higher to the normal living entities. But we have to understand whom to worship. As we see that, people in general, they worship many various demigods. But we have to understand whom to worship, who is the Supreme Personality, who is not temporary, who is permanent. That is one thing. And second thing, even if we, like, let us say there is in Vrindavan, there is a temple, Hanumanji's Mandir is there, Shankat Mochan Hanuman. So many people go there, worship. But we have to understand what prayers to offer there. Like many people tell, like, please remove the problems of our life. The what is so-called. We are also like, there is no one in this world who is not going through miseries and suffering, because we are in Dukkhalam. We are in the place where it is Dukkhalam. Lord Krishna himself has declared this place to be Dukkhalam Ashvasutam. So there is going to be miseries, there are going to be problems. But we have to understand, even when we go to this, even we go to any demigod, any devotees of the Lord, what prayers we should offer. We should offer prayers that, like, if we, let us say, even if of my bhakti, let me develop more devotion towards the Supreme Lord. So worshipping demigods, here the point is, we have to understand, we have to be intelligent enough to understand whom to worship. So Prabhupada gives a very beautiful point of understanding that the demigods are also temporary. So their benediction is also temporary, it's not permanent.
That verse is fruitless.
It's fruitless.
In all respects.
Yeah, correct.
So I mean that's really, from an English point of view, that is saying zero.
Zero.
And we should really dwell on that because so many people are caught up in the people worship.
Yeah.
Here, Shiva Bhagavatam is saying. So.
Anything you want to share?
No. No, but the thing is, see, on that note, we can worship. Whenever you worship, you should see them as a part and parcel of the Lord. That is, you should worship them in the right understanding. There are many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam also where devotees have actually worshipped some demigods, but thinking they're part of the body of Supreme Lord. They never think that they are independent of the Supreme Lord, even who offer obeisances or anything like that. So you are given this post. You are doing service to the Supreme Lord. So that's why I'm offering obeisances like that. So that should be the right understanding. There are several examples in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes. Thank you, Vijay. So now we'll go to the next verse. Translation.
Shukadeva Goswami said, when King Satyavata spoke in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who at the end of the Yuga had assumed the form of a fish to benefit his devotee and enjoy his pastimes in the water of inundation, responded as follows.
Yeah. So now King Satyavrata offered his prayers, and now the Matsya avatar starts instructing King Satyavrata. So we'll read the translation. Yes. Next.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O King, who can subdue your enemies? On the seventh day from today, three worlds, Bhu, Bhuva, and Swa, will all merge into the water of inundation.
Yeah. So Lord instructed that what is going to happen after 7 days from here now onwards, the inundation is going to happen. Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
When all the three worlds merge into the water, a large boat sent by me will appear before you.
Yeah. So when the inundation will happen, everything will be covered with the water. So Lord is assuring that, I will send a large boat. So this large boat is not like, we can see the boats in this world, like they get sometimes submerged. The example is Titanic. Titanic got submerged. They said that no one can sink this ship. Even God cannot sink. They claimed it actually. But eventually it happened that it was struck with iceberg. Yeah.
They cursed themselves when they said not even God.
Yeah, not even God. So, but here Lord is going to send a boat which is safe. We can guarantee on that. We don't have to worry about that.
Actually, I was hearing Mother Earth took the form of the boat.
Is it?
Just like sometimes Mother Earth takes the form of cow and goes to Lord Brahma, you see. So this boat is actually
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth.
Thank you.
Someone told. Yeah, I was hearing the other day.
So,
Manju Radha Mataji.
I just wanted to add, only yesterday I heard that the length of this Matsya avatar was 8 million miles.
yeah,
And
it's
yeah, because the total diameter of human flies is 2 billion miles, and this is 8 million.
Diameter is
2 billion
4
miles.
billion miles.
4 billion miles.
Radius is 2 billion.
Radius is 2 billion. 4 billion, and this Matsya avatar is 8 million.
yeah. It comes in the translation. Yeah, 8 million miles. Yeah. Okay, next translation.
Thereafter, O king, you shall collect all types of herbs and seeds and load them on the great board. Then, accompanied by the 7 rices and the rishis and surrounded by all kinds of living entities, you shall get aboard that boat, and without motionless you shall easily travel with your companions on the ocean of indulation, the only illumination being the effulgence of the great rishis.
Yeah, so here we can see that Lord instructed that when you board the ship or the boat, you collect all the herbs, all the seeds, and all the different species of animals, life, so that further creation, they can start the further. This also reminds me one story. I think you might have heard. Before hearing this one, I heard about that Noah. It's very similar to this pastime. So we can understand this. It is mentioned. The Srimad Bhagavatam gives a lots of detail. That will not that pastime when we hear about the Noah. They will never mention about there was some Matsya incarnation who sent the boat. We'll hear now this boat will be tied to that Matsya avatar with the Vasuki snake. So we can see that how Srimad Bhagavatam gives a complete picture of the entire pastime. And as we know that Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal, and it's we cannot trace back when it was existing. So yeah, we'll read the next translation.
Then, as the boat is tossed about by the powerful winds, attach the vessel to my hold by means of the great serpent Vasuki, for I shall be present by your side.
Yeah. So here we can see. You can see. So yeah, here you can see that this golden Matsya avatar. They're having a horn and the Vasuki. So he's instructing the King Satyavrat that when I appear, the boat will come, and you just tie that boat to my horn with the Vasuki snake. So this is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this picture.
This ocean is an ordinary ocean, it's the Garbhadak ocean. So
yeah.
Everything is inundated.
Yes. So when they talk about Noah,
sun, moon is also they are also inundated. No light was mentioned in the previous verse.
So you can imagine that
up to Dhruva, everything gets inundated.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that when they do the Noah story, they just talk about the earth.
Okay.
But here, this is like vast, beyond vast.
Actually, this inundation, the situation, it's very, nothing can exist.
Yeah.
It's like, we know that in the Govardhan Lila pastime also, these Samvartak clouds, they came, when the Pralaya happens, this Samvartak cloud comes, and they shower rains like hell, like all the inundation. So it's, and we can witness, when there is a continuous rain for few days, like for a week, or we can see that how everything gets flooded. So we can imagine, what will be the situation then. There is Pralaya, Samvartak cloud is pouring the water. So yeah, we'll read ahead. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's like 8 million fish.
Next translation.
Pulling the boat with you and all the rishis in it, O king, I shall travel in the water of devastation until the night of Lord Brahma's slumber is over.
Yeah, so here it is mentioned about when this happened actually. So we can read this further as well.
This particular devastation actually took place not during the night of Lord Brahma, but during his day, for it was during the time of Chakshusha, Manu. Brahma's night takes place when Brahma goes to sleep, but in the daytime there are 14 Manus, one of whom is Chakshu Manu. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comments that although it was daytime for Lord Brahma, Brahma felt sleepy for a short time by the supreme will of the Lord.
He is not allowed to take rest during the day.
This short period is regarded as Lord Brahma's night. This has been elaborately discussed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita. The following is a summary of his analysis.
Because Agastya Muni cursed Swayambhuva Manu, during the time of Swayambhuva Manu, a devastation took place. This devastation is mentioned in the Matsya Purana. During the time of Chakshusha Manu, by the supreme will of the Lord, there was suddenly another pralaya or devastation. This is mentioned by Markandeya Rishi in the Vishnu Dharmottara. At the end of Manu's time, there is not necessarily a devastation, but at the end of Chakshu Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his illusory energy, wanted to show Satyavrata the effects of devastation.
Yeah.
Srilas.
Yeah, it's a reference to it. So here we can, as Prabhuji said, because Lord Brahma took a power nap, so then the pralaya happened. Otherwise, the pralaya doesn't happen after the Manvantar. It happens only at the end of the day of Brahma. But here, because Lord wanted to show King Satyavrat how the devastation happens and show mercy upon him, that's why this was enacted by the Supreme Lord. Puja, how much time can you go?
Yeah. Do you want to complete today or not? We only have 2 parts.
We can read the translation.
We have another 10 minutes. If you
10
can
minutes?
read the translations, that's fine. And we can discuss.
Next, we'll read the translation.
Yeah.
Next.
You will be thoroughly advised and favored by me, and because of your inquiries, everything about my glories, which are known as Param Brahma, will be manifest within your heart. Thus you will know everything about me.
So, next we'll read the translations. Yes.
After thus instructing the king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately disappeared. Then King Satyavrata began to wait for that time for which the Lord has been instructed.
You wrote 814, you'll see the whole list of shlokas. So it's easy.
Or otherwise you can use the default view and advanced view. Yeah.
It's here
in the default view.
Yeah.
In the
Default view. Default view.
Oh, sorry.
That one. And then click on show advanced view. And then you
Tick
can
out-
actually
tick out.
select and deselect also. But it's okay, you can
Tick out.
Yeah, here you can tick off Devanagari, you can
Only
tick off,
translation
and
you want
just
to
synonyms.
accept that.
Only translation you can keep. Yeah, that's another way.
Do you remember which
The
shloka?
fourth one.
Yeah, we were in 39.
33?
Yeah, 40th.
Yes.
After spreading Kusha with the tips pointing east, the saintly king himself, facing the northeast, sat down on the grass and began to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who had assumed the form of a fish.
Thereafter, gigantic clouds pouring incessant water swelled the ocean more and more. Thus the ocean began to overflow onto the land and inundate the entire world.
As Satyavrata remembered the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he saw a boat coming near him. Thus he collected herbs and creepers, and accompanied by saintly Brahmanas, he got aboard the boat.
The saintly Brahmanas, being pleased with the king, said to him, O king, please meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Keshav. He will save us from this impending danger and arrange for our well-being.
Then, while the king constantly meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a large golden fish appeared in the ocean of inundation. The fish had one horn and was 8 million miles long.
Following the instructions formally given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the king anchored the boat to the fish's horn using the serpent Vasuki as a rope. Thus being satisfied, he began offering prayers to the Lord.
Yeah, so here this second time the King Satyavrata started offering prayers to the Supreme Lord.
The king said, by the grace of the Lord, those who have lost their self-knowledge since time immemorial, and who because of this ignorance are involved in material conditional life full of misery, obtain the chance to meet the Lord's devotee. I accept that Supreme Personality of God as the Supreme Spiritual Master.
Yeah. Just an important one point, like we can see here that Lord's mercy comes through His devotees. Sometimes we may be engrossed, like because we are subjected to much modes of material nature, and it's very difficult to get out of that. But Lord's devotees, it is also said that Lord never interferes with our free will. Okay, because He is supremely lovable Father. He will never interfere with our free will. But I heard that the devotees of the Lord, they can give us Krishna. Even it's like, we discussed a lot about Agyat Sukruti, that the devotees of the Lord can give us Krishna, even if it's not there in our, like as per our modes, karmic and the reactions, it's not there. The devotees of the Lord are merciful. So one gets a chance to meet the Lord's devotees. Okay, next.
In hopes of becoming happy in this material world, the foolish conditioned soul performs fruitive activities that results only in suffering. But by rendering service to Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from such false desires for happiness. May my Supreme Spiritual Master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart.
So Lord here is addressed as Supreme Spiritual Master. So those who are representing the Supreme Lord and representing the instructions of the Supreme Lord, they are also as good as worshipable as Lord. That's what we sing in Mangala and Guru Ashtakam prayers, Shakshat Haritvena, Samasta Shastra. So that's what it means, that because the spiritual master is representing the Supreme Lord and his instructions, they are also worshipable. Next translation.
One who wants to be free from material entanglement should take to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give up the contamination of ignorance involving pious and impious activities. Thus one regains his original identity, just as a block of gold or silver sheds all dirt and becomes purified when treated with fire. May that inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead become our spiritual master, for He is the original spiritual master of all other spiritual masters.
Neither all the demigods, not the so-called gurus, nor all other people, either independently or together, can offer mercy that equals even 1/10,000th of yours. Therefore, I wish to take shelter of your lotus feet.
As a blind man, being unable to see, accepts another blind man as his leader. People who do not know the goal of life accept someone as guru, who is a rascal and fool. But we are interested in self-realization. Therefore, we accept you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as our spiritual master. For you are able to see in all directions and are omniscient like the sun.
A materialist, so-called guru, instructs his materialistic disciple about economic development and sense gratification. And because of such instructions, the foolish disciple continue in the materialistic existence of ignorance. But your Lordship gives knowledge that is eternal, and the intelligent person receiving such knowledge is quickly situated in his original constitutional position.
you are the supreme well-wishing friend of everyone, the dearmost friend, the controller, the super soul, the supreme instructor, and the giver of supreme knowledge, and the fulfillment of all desires. You are within the heart. The foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you.
O Supreme Lord, for self-realization I surrender unto you, who are worshipped by the demigods as the supreme controller of everything. By your instructions, exposing life's purpose, kindly cut the knot from the core of my heart and let me know the destination of my life.
Shukadev Goswami continued, when Satyavrata had thus prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had assumed the form of a fish, the Lord, while moving in the water of inundation, explained to him the absolute truth.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead thus explained to King Satyavrata the spiritual science known as Samkhya Yoga, the science by which one distinguishes between matter and spirit, in other words, Bhakti Yoga, along with the instructions contained in the Puranas, the old histories, and the Samhitas. The Lord explained himself in all these literatures.
While sitting in the boat, King Satyavrata, accompanied by the great saintly persons, listened to the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in regard to self-realization. These instructions were all from the eternal Vedic literature, Brahma. Thus the king and sages had no doubt about the absolute truth.
At the end of the last inundation, during the period of Swayambhu Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead killed the demon named Hayagriva and delivered all the Vedic literatures to Lord Brahma, when Lord Brahma awakened from sleeping.
King Satyavrata was eliminated with all Vedic knowledge by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, and in this period he has now taken birth as Vaivashvata Manu, the son of the sun god.
This story concerning the great King Satyavrata and the fish incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is a great transcendental narration. Anyone who hears it is delivered from the reactions of sinful life. Shall I read? One who narrates this description of the Matsya incarnation, and King Satyavrata will certainly have all the ambitions fulfilled, and he will undoubtedly return home back to Godhead.
This is the verse I sent to him when I asked him to give class.
I offer my respectable obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who pretended to be a gigantic fish, who restored the Vedic literature to the Lord Brahma, when Lord Brahma awakened from sleep, and who explained the essence of Vedic literature to King Satyavrata and great saintly persons. Matsya ki jai.
It is actually the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada has brought, when Srila Prabhupada came to the West in New York, he brought with him Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada has mentioned all these pastimes in the Bhagavatam, and by that, the mercy of, as I mentioned in the first session, the mercy of the Lord flows through his devotees. So, Srila Prabhupada must say, and through Prabhuji told me to narrate this pastime, so I'm very grateful, and of course we can learn many lessons from this. Like I discussed about Agyat Sukriti, how we can help in developing, like we can give Krishna consciousness in various ways, whatever is practical, whatever is relevant to the people, we can give Krishna consciousness through that, prasadam, through kirtan, through books, and so, yeah, so and please forgive me if I made some mistakes in presenting these pastimes. I'm just trying to learn the bits. But personally, I got very much benefited by hearing this pastime again and again. And it's very purifying, this pastime, especially when we hear in association of devotees. I would really emphasize that association of devotees is very important. So thank you so much for patiently listening. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Yamuna Prabhu. So appreciate. Good to see so many members. So we were, we are cooking prasadam at, we cooked prasadam at home. So Lalita Priti didn't know actually how many people are going to turn up. She had a guest, but good to see around 20 people. So happy that these classes are very, very beneficial. We go in depth, and in Sunday classes on Sunday we don't have much time to discuss it. So I would urge and request devotees to take part and learn, so much. If you adjust some of your schedule, and only 2 Saturdays a month, come and listen. In 2 Saturdays, we managed to complete entire Matsya avatar, the fish incarnation, like that. So please take benefit of, opportunities. Temple is providing so many opportunities. It's up to the individuals whether they take advantage of it or not. I can list so many things that the temple is providing, but it's up to the individuals. So that's why, if you read the Yashoda Maya story, 2 things are important: our endeavor and Krishna's mercy. But we expect Krishna's mercy without our endeavor. That is our problem. But our endeavor should be there. Even if you endeavor, there is no guarantee Krishna would bless you. But endeavor should be there. So thank you for being with us. Appreciate it. Just meditating when Prabhuji was reading, 8 million miles long, then the earth diameter is about 8,000 miles. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, it is only 8,000 miles, and it correlates very much, agrees with the modern scientists' measurement also. 8 to 8.5 miles. 8,000 miles. And this is 8 million miles. That means how big is it? 1,000 times bigger than the earth.
It's a fish.
Fish. Yes.
I have a question.
Oh, you have a question? He is the person who...
Anyone can answer,
Yeah,
but
if there is a question.
the question is on the fish only.
Fish
I mean, even if it is 800 meters or 8 kilometers or 8 miles fish, we can't see the thing.
Yeah, you
Only some portion we can see, right? And it's 8 million fish. How the people, the Satyavrat Muni, what was the name of the king? Satyavrata. How they identified that it's a fish or anyone else?
They also like.
They are not like you and me.
Yeah.
They have a greater vision.
No, they have divine vision. So they can.
Divya.
Thank you. What else? I wanted to mention that next month, February, 2 Saturdays, our Radha Vinod Prabhu has kindly agreed to speak on Nityananda Leela. Nityananda Prabhu, for those of you who don't know about Nityananda Prabhu, is an expansion, is an incarnation of Lord Balram. He's none other than Balram, but he's more merciful than Balram. Is more merciful. Just like, father at home is more merciful than father in the office, like in the suit, etc. He's like a businessman. But when he comes home, people jump on, sometimes they chastise, they kick also, they fight like that. So Nityananda Prabhu is extremely merciful, and our Radha Vinod Prabhu has kindly agreed to speak 2 Saturdays on Nityananda Prabhu's Leela. Coming Monday, so we are doing a special program, and we all know that the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya is being inaugurated. Ram Lalla, Ram Didi is being installed. Many temples are celebrating that occasion. We are also, be part of that. We want to be part of that, and we have some wonderful program scheduled, put up by the devotees. There will be Kirtan, Bhajan, Flower Abhishek, and there will be Prasadam. So you can join. The program starts from 6:30. Madhakumar Prabhu had sent the message last night. Thank you very much. So please give me 2 minutes to set up the Prasadam arrangements. signs. Hare Krishna.
Will we be able to see at that sign in the temple when they are doing
Maybe in the morning.
Yes.
But it took in morning, we will hear in the evening.
Oh, right. Which one you are asking?
The temple program, live.
Ramnalan is sleeping.
Live will be there now.
Mataji is asking, are we going to will be around 11? That is not possible.
He asked all the questions. I thought our class will be on.
No. The Ayurveda program.
Whether we watch it here. You can't watch it here. That would be the morning. You can watch at home in the phone and the computer. Okay.
In India, they are doing because
Because they are in Indian time. See, every devotee will watch here. I would be on the TV or like you go to YouTube and watch it down. How can I miss that? Okay.
You can watch it after the morning.
Yeah, please.
I will say Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Sarva Punya Padam Rajan Vishwasunaiva Jayate Sharira Vidyajal Jayendriya Kahekar Chire Fele Vishya Sagare Charamati Jigvati Logo Mai Sudurmati Tajita Katina Samsare Tajita Samsare Krishna Bana Dayamai Soribar Jigvajay Prasadana Dilobhai Soprasadana Dilobhai Anamrita Pao Se Anamrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagao Kosi Chaitanya Nitai Kosi Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nitai Jai Nimai Jai Nitai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Shri Radha Gopurand Bhagat Prasadam ki Jai. Yeah. I then later I saw the time. So you should do have your email. I will send you one document. The guidance I have taken from this
But she could see
whatever this is, points.